Unfiltered, hosted by myself, Brad Burud, and Kyle Lewis, talking Flames hockey every single week. Kyle, what day is it? It's been a whirlwind of a weekend. We're here, what is it? It's Monday night now. We don't usually record on the night the Flames play. They're actually playing preseason tonight.
It's preseason. Exactly.
It's not going to change our conversation. I can guarantee it. I saw the lineup in tonight. It's not changing our conversation.
No, I think now that we're in the second week of training camp, this is, the conversations that are going to take place are going to be the ones that are ongoing till the very end, right?
That's right.
I feel anyway.
I agree. I got a question to start the night.
Fire away.
E-bugs. Every team has to have their own e-bug this year. And it's part of the payroll, not the salary cap, but the payroll.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard what an e-bug gets paid, but that's a lot of travel and a lot of time. What's the justified salary for this position? Okay, so let me put it to you this way. How much would they have to pay you if you were a goalie to do this?
To live that dream? Nothing.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But it's a hard, the old system was like they got $500, right? And they got to keep the jersey. I'd still sign up for that, but you got to believe it's now.
But now you're traveling. Now you can't have a job. Like, what are you going to do?
That sounds better than the job that I have. So I wouldn't have to carry a phone that rings 100 times a day from, people that just want things. But I mean, that's what they pay me to do. So I shouldn't complain. But
I know. I think we both face the same problems in day-to-day life.
In terms of our work lives, yes. And rooting for a, mediocre team.
I think in a lot of parts of our lives are eerily similar.
Yeah, I would argue yours is a bit more stable, perhaps, but that's a discussion for a different type of podcast. The one where dudes look to other dudes for help, not talk about hockey.
Well, we do that a lot of counseling sessions on our podcast.
Oh, man.
Throughout the season. I found something for you the other day. And I'm not doing this to be a smartass, but I'm
a self-help book?
No.
I got lots of those anyway. No need for more. Go on.
So I've told you this before, and we said on the pod. I collect Theron Fleury cards, and I'm trying to get like as many as I can, just like one of each of his cards. Right? Mm-hmm. It'll never happen where I get them all, but it's just it's fun to collect, right?
Sounds agonizing, but yes, go on.
I know. I was at the card store the other day, and I ran into this card. And I laughed when I saw it, and I put it in my bin of stuff to buy. Can you read what that is?
Is that Matt Phillips?
Yes, it is.
I didn't have to read it. I just know.
Isn't that crazy card? It's an upper deck portrait card of your buddy Matthew Phillips.
Wow. He had himself game for the Ducks the other night in the preseason again. But still.
I know.
Yeah, I think he had 2 goals. He had 1 for sure. Anyway. Yeah, well, card collecting, as any other type of collecting, is an endless journey. It's like fixing up a house.
It is. It's probably worse. It's as expensive nowadays. I can tell you that.
Not nearly as rewarding.
No.
Yeah. So how do we got a lot of nothingness going on to start this one. How do we segue into Flames talk? By singing into it, apparently. Okay, all right, let's dive right into it, because again, week 2 is where things get, a lot more refined. So, who's your standout thus far in camp? Can be a veteran, but also younger players.
Who's my standout?
Yeah, if you had to pick just one, and there could be several, but just one that just jumps in your head, who's really impressed you so far?
Here's the sad thing. Like, not a lot are impressing me right now. Wow. I'm serious. I have not been very impressed. I was impressed the Vancouver game. The other games, I thought we looked awful. Flat out awful.
All right.
Okay. Who has impressed me? Now, some of the guys I feel like we haven't seen. Forward wise, Frost he's probably the forward has stood out the most to me.
And arguably, next to probably Sharon Govich has as much to prove as any forward, right?
Mm-hmm. He stood out the most. Defensively, I don't even really know defense.
Well, because Perek, like we all knew he was this good, right?
You know, do we want to talk about him right away? I have a lot of positives to say about Zane Prek. I love a lot of what he does. I still worry a little bit when this week now we'll really see it when we're playing against NHL forwards that somewhat care.
Yeah, Elliot Friedman said on 32 Thoughts it was like players, like veteran players, will be 50 to 75% carrying this week.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how he handles it. Thus far, I'm super impressed. And as much as it irritated me slightly at the beginning of camp that he was going to be automatically on the roster because of default, I believe he's earned it. And I fully say that. I am going to tell you one thing that drives me absolutely nuts in his game, and I'm gonna snap a few times on X this year of it. When he hits the puck and he's skating up and he's moving his feet the opposite direction and doing all this footwork when there isn't anybody even close to him, irritates the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? What is that stuff? Like, what is that?
An extremely skilled player, using his mobility.
There's nobody around him.
I understand that, but he is such a unique way of consistently protecting the puck that, if we have to put up with it to get the good things, I'll learn to tolerate it. It may grow on you. It may grow on you.
No, it's this. It looks. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm a little.
This is old school, Brad. Yeah, this is old school, Brad. Coming
I don't like it, but like I said, there's a lot of things. Like it's like the Blasty jerseys to me. I don't like it, but if you win with them, I love it.
Jeez.
Right?
And sports superstitions are just the fucking worst.
I'm just saying.
Actually, I'm curious what the Toronto Blue Jays record was in their City Connect jerseys, because those are beautiful. I should look that up. Anyway,
you see the Minnesota Wilder wearing the very first.
Oh, I love those.
And they're gonna wear the white ones at home. Hey, Batman, let's do that for every team.
Yeah, you're a big proponent of that. I forgot.
Yes, because then when you're sitting at the Saddle Dome, when you're a season ticket holder, a new team's coming in every night with a new color jersey. Not a white jersey every single night. If you're a season ticket holder now and you go to a Flames game, you got red and against white every single night, all 80 or all 41. It used to be that okay. But you used to go to a game though, and every night it was a new color coming in. And by the way, you could put a Blasty on a white jersey to make people happy, right? Or wear the black ones once in a while and change the road team.
The last time they switched to go to Darkset, when they switched it to go to Darkset home, that's when we got the iconic Red Mile 2004 red jersey with the black C with Blasty in the shoulder, which many would argue is the only really beautiful jersey in team history not currently being represented. So anyway,
do you think it's funny that when me and you talk, our conversation goes to 80s hair metal or jerseys damn near every conversation?
Imagine if we drank together.
Oh boy.
Be so much worse.
I'll drag it back here and I'll finish the question that you gave me. And then I'm going to throw that same question back at you. I could speak about, I actually, and I want to, defensively, Zane Prek has stood out to me, and I'm going to throw another name out there that has stood out to me, and I'm wondering why he gets very little praise or consideration for the future on this team. And that's Greshnikov on defense.
He's
physical.
Yep.
He's safe out there. He does his job. Is that not what we want in a third pairing left defenseman?
Well, yes, but there's so many players ahead of him in the depth chart that I think it's going to be overlooked.
Who on the depth chart is playing better than him? I'm just saying, it surely isn't Miramonov. It surely isn't Jake Bean.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that I would have Brustevich on there and Grishnikov on the roster before I would Bean or Miramonov.
Well, this is exactly what everybody's talking about. So The concern is that, like many NHL camps and past Flames camps, especially, that players that deserve to make the opening night roster may not. And Shnikov would be one of them for sure. Because
he's not making the roster. I can tell you that right now. And I don't know that I would even have him on mine. I'm just saying, like, I guess I'm frustrated with something. And that's his talk in I don't know, and I'm not throwing our Flames market in under the bus here. I don't know, maybe it happens in every market. But why are we so afraid of waivers in Calgary? Like, if we put Miramanoff on waivers tomorrow, God help me, I hope somebody does claim him, because then we don't have to pay the guy 1.25.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about him needing a fresh start anyway, and I still think that's a distinct possibility for him.
No, there's no way, because who's putting him on their NHL roster? You can't claim him and not put him on your NHL roster. He's got to play.
You can always try to bury him.
You have to have him play though first.
Yeah, but here, like, he came into camp in arguably the best shape of his life. I mean, and there's lots of guys that aren't having great camps. And and then I'll answer the question as well about who's impressed me. Who hasn't so far would be him for sure, but also Devin Cooley, of course, and Profsatov has actually impressed me a fair bit so far.
I would agree. I would agree. He's definitely winning the battle, right? Definitely.
Yeah. Another guy who has not really done anything. I mean, and again, it's preseason, it's training camp. It's hard to say too much, but Martin Pospisil has been, virtually invisible.
He's been not good.
I'll tell you a guy who has my answer to the question, who absolutely to this point should be in the opening night roster is Rory Kerins. I don't know what else this guy has to do to make this team.
I knew this was going to be the talk of the show. And you know what? We're going to go back and forth on this one. I'm going to agree with a lot of what you say, but I'm going to disagree at the end on one thing. And he's been the talk of camp, and it's hard to argue against him being on the roster, because he puts up points. Even last year when we called him up for 4 games or 5 games, I believe he had 4 points.
He had 4 points in 4 games. Shit.
Like, he just finds a way, right? He never, does he ever make a play that you're like, wow, that was impressive? No.
What impresses me is his foot speed and his ability to make plays in tight spaces.
You know what else impresses me? He wins faceoff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, against Jonathan Taves, who's probably a little bit rusty, mind you, and
he was 4 for 9 against him. I just looked it up here. But that's pretty good for against Jonathan Taves, who led the league, I believe, 3 times in faceoffs.
Yeah, but so here's the other reason, and I should mention, just as a funny aside, I texted the scout with the Flames that was largely responsible for drafting him and said he's reached out to the Flames for a bonus for for helping find Rory Kerins, and he said, well, hopefully it just helps me keep my job.
Solid point.
Yeah. But the thing is this team, there's been so many questions for quite some time now, in terms of center depth. And I'm not going to suggest that Rory Kerins is going to be the answer to that, but he could be a answer to that, based on everything he's done in a very limited sample size, mind you, the NHL level. Unless he falls off a cliff towards the end of this preseason, I don't know how he doesn't make the team based on what he's done so far. He's been fantastic. And faceoffs, he's scored. Again, his speed is deceiving. The deceptive, I guess, would be the best word for it. He's been really, really good, and he deserves to be on this team, and more so than Martin Pospisil right now. And we've also said, both of us, we don't think Lomberg should be in the lineup necessarily every single night. So
I don't know that. I mean, I don't see what he brings to the team at all right now.
The locker room guy, right?
God, I'm going to sound like the biggest prick in the world tonight. I don't give a shit anymore. I want to win Stanley Cups. I'm tired of these feel-good stories. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this in Calgary. While he's a good guy, I'm sure he's great. But you know what? I want to win Stanley Cups. And I'm sure that the Justin Kirkland story is wonderful, and I'm sure he's great. Is Justin Kirkland an everyday NHL player? No. Is Rory Kerins an everyday NHL player? I don't think so. I pray to God I'm wrong.
I think you are wrong on that, but time will tell.
I pray I'm wrong. but I don't feel like it. I don't feel it.
But when you have guys like,
and it sounds so contradictory because he's getting the points. I sound awful saying that.
But again, it's not just the points; it's everything he's doing. But to your point, and the overarching concerning point is guys like Kirkland, Lomberg. We mentioned Pospisil's not playing well. Klapka potentially, who's been a tweener to this point. There's a glut of forwards that could conceivably, because they have experience or because Lomberg won a cup, that could take opportunity away from a guy like Kerins. A guy like Kerins, this could turn out to be another Matty Phillips, right? You never know. But I think he
has more upside than Matty Phillips. I think Matty Phillips was more dynamic of a scorer, but I think, and I hate saying this because there's a lot of guys that overcome it, but I do believe his size was tough for a detriment, right?
Yeah, well, for a player that plays the game the way that he does, for sure, Anyway, time will tell. But I am concerned, as I've always been, that this glut of forwards in the bottom part of the roster will end up taking a spot from a guy who's really, really earned it. There's exceptions to every rule. Some guys you just can't deny them. But it's, again, like every camp, we're not going to mourn until that last round of cuts and see who makes opening night. But I don't know. I just that always concerns me. It concerns me on defense as well. I mean, we know Perek is essentially a shoe-in, and Huska has praised him when he's talked about him. Elliot Friedman mentioned him on 32 Thoughts today. Like, everybody's talking about this guy, but there's a lot of other stories that we're not as sure of that could end up playing out, being really important part of this team.
I think I need you to talk me off a cliff here, because maybe I'm getting too deep into this, but I'm looking at our team. Matthew Coronado, to me, hasn't stood out at all in camp. Connor Zary hasn't stood out at all. I can't even remember the last time I saw Sharon Govich even play. I think he's in the roster tonight, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I still sit and I look at Adam Klapka and go, is this guy an NHLer or not? And one of the things, and you know what? I sit and I look at Martin Pospisil and I God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I wonder, is he an NHLer or not? And I know I'm probably getting too deep here, but I guess what my worry is offensively is that no one is jumping off the board that changes the makeup and look of this team in a positive direction.
That's a bit of it's kind of tough at this point to say. I do wonder about Pospisil being. I mean, he got a contract as always everyday NHL player.
I know he did, and he's gonna get a spot whether he plays awful or not right now because of it.
Well, he's gonna be into the lineup potentially in a worst case, but I do think that he had a bit of a, in his case, really called a sophomore slump, but something to that effect. I mean, it's just his second real, first year in the league. But as far as
I have my theory. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kyle.
No, what's your theory?
The day they took the edge away from Martin Pospisil, his game declined.
What day was that? After the time when he got suspended, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah, that's understandable.
If I was Martin Pospisil if I was Ryan Huska and Craig Conroy, I'll tell Martin Pospisil, you need to play on the edge every night. If you get suspended, we're okay with it. You were effective. I'm not saying go out there and goon somebody. I'm saying play on the edge. Teams don't like playing against players who play on the edge. When Martin Pospisil was talked about every day, he was playing on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
His last suspension, when Ryan Huska publicly said that they talked to him about taking it back a step, he has not been the same player since.
Yeah. Well,
concerning to me.
It is. Yeah, he's one of those guys that have to keep an eye in terms of see how much he plays or how effective he is. I certainly expect he'll score more than 4 goals, or I hope so. But I think this team has a lot of forward depth. I'm not that concerned about it. I'm a little concerned that he got the contract he got, where he's still a bit of an unknown. But we shall see how that plays out.
That contract doesn't scare me. It does, because I'm sitting here saying I'm worried about where he sits in the lineup, but it is a contract that's It's not.
Oh, it's pretty negligible in the grand scheme, but it's like the team kind of assumed, okay, this guy's going to play all the time, be an effective player for us, and he still certainly could be.
Sure.
But that's also why he didn't get a big commitment. It was more of a bridge deal, right, to see what they actually have in him. So much like they did with Connor Zary, we shall see. But at the end of the day, like something's got to give this season. There's a huge glut of forwards in this team. One or two of them are going to have to be sent to the Wranglers or waived or traded or something because there's just too many guys floating around.
Is there too many? How do I word this? Because I'm sounding super negative in this show, and I'm not trying to be, because I'm super excited about the season. But does this team have too many good players and not enough great players? Is that a problem? I mean, I believe that's a problem.
It is. Now, by committee, they can be a pretty effective group as long as they can score enough, because I think they have a budding potential perennial all-star in Parak and all-world goaltender in Wolf. Are they missing that dynamic forward? Sure, although I do think Matthew Coronado is going to be one of the league's best goal scorers for the next probably 5 to 10 years. I honestly, his shot is so good. I believe that.
I pray you're right, and I don't doubt that he won't be, because
everybody's talking about 30 goals, which I think if he's healthy, I think is a given. I think this guy's going to score 40. I really think he's that good. But a bona fide superstar forward is what this team is missing, and if they have it, it's probably a ways off. So it's going to have to be largely a committee. But to answer your question, yes, I do think this team has a lot of good forwards, enough that there's a few good forwards who aren't going to play every night. But do they have a lot of high-end talent? Absolutely not. And they're going to have to hope on, as we keep talking about, Sharon Govich rebounding, Frost having a big year, Zary taking a step, Kadri not aging out, Huberdeau not aging out. Those things all need to happen for this team to score enough goals to make the playoffs and be competitive in the playoffs.
What does Gridden do for you at this camp?
I think he established himself as a legitimate professional prospect.
Yeah. I agree completely. Is he a roster guy this year? No, I don't think so. But boy, a year from now, I can't wait to see what he is.
Well, he turned a hell of a lot of heads, and understandably so, and will likely continue to do so. I mean, hopefully, in this game against Seattle and whatever he does the remainder of camp. But yeah, he established himself as a legit prospect and went from, at least in my mind, a top 10 prospect in the team to probably top 3. He really is that good. He was dominant in the Q playoffs last year too. I mean, this guy there's a future there, and it's it's not just an everyday NHLer. I think there's something beyond that if he continues his current trajectory.
So you mentioned the name Nazem Kadri, and last year I was kind of a proponent of, not even kind of, I was a proponent of moving him at the draft when I feel like his value was at an all-time high. Mm-hmm. Perusing X this week, that brings us to our X factor, and I see this, and it says it's from Zary Zalapski, not Zary Zalapski, the X-Flame, who I believe sadly is no longer with us.
Correct.
Anyways, this says, I like Kadri a lot. I'll proudly wear his jersey long after he's done playing, but man, he's a near perfect fit for Florida.
Was this prior to the Barkov news or after?
This is right after the Barkov news.
Yeah.
And injuries do create openings for every franchise when they have them, unfortunately. And Alexander Barkov goes out with a season-ending injury, which really sucks because he's one of my top 10 favorite players to watch. Mm-hmm. But it does bring to light, I mean, Florida's they're obviously in win now mode. They have been winning now, but that continues now. And they're in need of a slot filler. And I fully believe and wholeheartedly believe that they probably can do it from within and be just fine. Sliding a Nazem Kadri in there where Barkov was does sound pretty enticing. Is this something that if you were Craig Conroy, would you explore it?
Not right now, no. Because there's no need to. I mean, at the end of the day, Barkov's not going to be back till best case the playoffs.
Best case, yes.
Yeah. Anton Lundell is going to get a lot of heavy minutes and has been described by Friedman and others as like Barkov light. I don't think Florida can put a package together right now that's enticing enough to make Conroy, blow his chance of making the playoffs by keeping Kadri. But I think once we get closer to the deadline, then it becomes a hell of a lot more enticing.
10 games into the season, we have 6 points. Do you change your mind?
Oh yeah, I would. Absolutely. Yeah. This team can't afford a bad start.
We can't. Like, I've thought about it so many times. Remember last year when we got off to that just blazing start?
5-0-1, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember us talking and we were both like, can you believe this is actually happening?
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere to us. But you know that what that did was that those 5 games or 6 games out of the chute set us up for the whole year to put us in the race, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's only that slump in January that really kicked him in the nuts, but yeah.
In the St. Louis trip, we'll never forget that. I'll probably never forget that.
I think the reason we still talk about that and fixated so much on those 2 games is because it's so unusual to have back-to-back games in the same barn against the same team. Like,
I know.
I really think that's why we got stuck in that. And I remember it was midweek. It was like a Tuesday, Thursday, and I was so pissed that entire week watching those games. Anyway,
I remember our show right after that. We were hot. Ugh.
Yeah.
We were smoking. We were mad.
But anyway, that's a great X factor, and I do think, if I'm Florida, especially missing Tkachuk as well, let's not forget that. Also, let's not forget what it could mean to have Bennett, Tkachuk, and Kadri in the playoffs.
Could you imagine? And you know what another thing too is? Like, when I read that, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh man, Florida's aggressive like Vegas is. They would do that.
Sorry, just chugging some BioStew here. I'm so sick of Vegas and Florida both. I'm tired of these Sunbelt teams just cleaning up.
They're aggressive, right? I want us to be that way.
You sounded like Vince McMahon in like 2003 with the ruthless aggression era,
But
I get it. But they're in the position to be aggressive because they have all these fantastic players that they drafted, and then they went out and acquired the right veterans from the right teams in the decline, the guys like Seth Jones to round out the rosters and win cups. So now I don't really honestly this is going to sound terrible, but after watching Mitch Marner's hissy fit in Game 7 against Florida, yeah. I don't really think Mitch Marner makes Vegas any more of a playoff threat. A much better regular season team potentially.
It might hurt them in the playoffs.
And I might eat these words because getting out of the Toronto spotlight might be the best thing to happen to him. But I'm not worried about Vegas in the playoffs right now until he proves different. Whatever.
Yeah, me too.
About them. Especially when you get Petrangelo's out indefinitely. Stone's always hurt. Like there's always that gradual change, which makes teams like ours so exciting because we're on the rise, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
The LA Kings, you could say the same. The Oilers are kind of trending in no man's land right now. They're certainly not any better, I don't think.
I don't think they're any better. I don't think they're any worse.
You know who I do think is worse? The Vancouver Canucks.
You think Vancouver's worse, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Now they get the Quinn Hughes distraction. They get rid of JT Miller and bring in Evander Kane. And you're worried about locker room chemistry.
That does that. Oh, I think the day that trade went down, I think Quinn Hughes looked at his phone and was like, I got to call Jack.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how that all plays out. But I mean, Elias Pettersson was such a ghost last year. And unless he had some kind of brutal nagging injury, the way that he played, despite his talent level, regardless of what's going on with Miller or anybody else in Vancouver, you don't win with guys like that. And I mean, I could be wrong. They could be a team that Thatcher Demko could all of a sudden become a Vezina candidate and be healthy all year. Anything's possible, but I'm not sold on that team at all.
Next week we're going to do our predictions, and we'll definitely dive deeper into this. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that talk. I do have a question though. The goalie battle between Cooley and Provetstov, I believe I said that right, has been. Let's put it that Cooley has struggled a bit, and definitely think that he's got the lower hand right now. Wolf is going tonight with Say in Seattle, which leaves 2 preseason games left, I believe, Wednesday and Friday. Do you give each of them one more go?
Absolutely. Dustin Wolf has nothing to prove. Owen Say is just out of college, nowhere near pro hockey ready. Earmarked for the Wranglers.
who I think will do very well.
I think so too, yeah. But full game each. None of this one period crap. Like just, it's a one game audition, guys. Because Cooley has the pedigree, and had Vladar not been around, the job would have been his, especially based on how he played the first half of the season. How do you say that? I say Provsatov. What'd you say?
I think you're right.
Doesn't matter anyway. I'll have to check that again. I feel badly because
I don't think I'm right. If he makes this roster, I promise I will learn it.
You're gonna have to, but he's a big man and has covered the net really, really well. He's moved well laterally. He's looked like he belongs in the NHL. Again, it's preseason, but yeah, it's a one game edition for each, and whoever plays the best of those two games based on the rosters they're likely to face, because we're getting near the end of camp, that's what makes the decision. And I don't see any danger of either one being claimed. There's not a desperate need out there for goaltenders at the NHL level right now. So I think that, yeah, you could easily swap them for the time being if you needed to. But yeah, I'd let it go down to those two games, then pick from there.
Yeah, I believe it's Prosvetov, right?
Sorry, that shaker's really loud. Yeah, I think that's what I said.
Okay. I got a bone to pick here. I was listening to the post-game show on Friday night after the Winnipeg Jets loss. The Flames lost to the Jets, I should be more clear. Megan Mickelson, just, I don't know, she drove me nuts on me. She always makes excuses for players. We had nobody jump off the page at all that night, right? And no. Except for Karen. Karen's kind of did.
Karen's has not had a bad shift.
No, he hasn't had a bad night. And so, but she always finds excuses, and she says, well, Devin Cooley really wasn't fair to him because he was up against a good Jets roster tonight. And I thought, I don't know, like game 6 when he plays, is he not going to be against an NHL roster? Like I don't understand this. Like,
well, I think she's trying to highlight the fact that the team around him wasn't that great, but I don't think it's an excuse for necessarily how he played. Now, if you look at each of those goals, none of them were like egregiously bad.
One was,
but I mean, the hope is that your NHL goaltender will make one of those saves for you to keep you in the game, right? And that wasn't the case.
No, he didn't. I didn't think he looked great, but I mean, I don't know. I was hoping I guess I didn't really know who I wanted to win the battle. I guess I don't have a preference. I just want, and I think we need a backup goalie that we can feel very comfortable with, because we cannot put all the pressure on Wolf and it be 100% on Dustin Wolf. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to do to any goalie.
It's funny as we're talking about this. There's one day left in the month, and the guy on the Flames calendar for September is Dan Vladar.
I like Dan Vladar. I miss Dan Vladar.
I'm curious to see how he does in Philly. I really am.
He's going to be good. He's going to be good.
Do you think Carter Hart lands somewhere? I'm hearing lots of talk about that.
I've heard Vegas. I think he lands somewhere. Why not?
Oh, God, just enough of this Vegas shit.
It's going to be Vegas. It just is. It just is.
So Hart and Hill.
I got another question for you, since I'm kind of jammed up on this waiver thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have a fairly long list of guys that are eligible, that are waiver eligible. Are you losing any sleep? Okay, tell me, I'm going to list the guys off. And as I say them, tell me, are you upset if we lost them on waivers or not?
Carry away.
I'm going to skip the first one because it's Prosvetov, and because I believe he's going to win the race. So are you going to be upset if we lose Devin Cooley?
No.
Me either. Jake Bean.
I wanted them to get him long before they did. I want him to be a lot better than what he's been, but no.
Miramonov.
He used to play for Moncton. That's almost not even fair. Again, I want him to work out so badly, but no.
Kuznetsov.
Yes, I would be upset.
Okay.
He's actually had a pretty good camp, and I think has deserved a longer look with the big club.
Solovyov.
Same as Kuznetsov. I like both those guys.
I'm agreeing with you so far.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna skip Poirier because he already cleared.
He already cleared. And you know what? I kind of wish he'd been claimed, actually, because he deserves a chance elsewhere. He's getting buried in that depth chart, and he deserves a look somewhere else.
Okay, I agree, but has he done anything to show. I mean, he is given a chance. I mean, did he do anything at all? No, I don't know.
Well, but let's look at it this way just for a moment. So you got the established NHL guys, the Uyghurs, Andersons, et cetera, et cetera. And these blue chip prospects like Brstevich, Perek, like
he got jumped over. Yes,
it's really, really hard for the Flames to justify giving him a longer look or more attention. It's just a, I know. It's just not. I heard at one point that Brstevich, wasn't like thrilled that the Flames had drafted Perek because they have a lot of similarities in their skill set, right? And whether or not that's true, it doesn't matter. The point is that the depth chart, when it's as deep as the Flames, and you get all your NHL ready guys. This is why we talked about the last show, but can be kind of excited about moving Anderson. There's a bit of a glut of D-men, and Jeremy Poirier has just been totally lost in the shuffle by no fault of his own.
See, I think that in defensively, we do have a deep prospect pool. Offensively, I think our prospect pool sucks.
It got a lot better after this last draft, I think, but we'll see.
I would agree, but that's still 4 years out. But I think it sucks from here to there.
Yep.
We'll see. Adam Klapka.
Yeah, I don't want to lose him just because he's so big. He's such a big dude.
Justin Kirkland.
No, I'd miss his shootout move, but no. I mean, this guy is a career AHLer, which is still pro hockey, way better than I've ever played, of course.
Oh yeah.
But he's not. And the thing is too, like I remember Michael Stone when he ruined his knee. Like you do lose a step with that type of injury, especially in a sport like hockey.
He looks a little slower. I know people are saying he doesn't, but he does. He looks a little slower.
Whether he is or he isn't, just with the age, the miles, and I'd love to keep him, but I mean,
it's a great start.
Yeah, and that shootout move, like I want to try that. Like that, it's like a cheat code. However, am I going to be upset if we lose him? No, because he's one of those guys that's kind of placeholding for somebody who deserves a chance now, like a Rory Kerins, right?
Sam Morton.
I don't want to lose him. I feel like there might be something there.
Rory Kerins.
I'd be furious. Furious. You don't even want to know the hell I'd raise if that were to happen.
Clark Bishop.
No, career HLer, Wranglers captain, isn't he?
I thought the next guy I was going to say Dryden Hunt is.
Oh, yeah. I Bishop and Hunt. No, I mean, listen. I want to be careful because these guys are very important to the development of your younger players.
I'm not. I know I've been grilled critical. I'm just speaking. That's why it's called Flames Unfiltered. I'm speaking about what I feel about the guys right now.
Yeah, well, and it's like when I talk to my buddy that works for the Blue Jackets, it's like, there's only so many of these jobs, whether it's scouting, coaching, playing, whatever. And that's it, those guys, when they move on, like they're very, very valuable, but they're kind of a dime a dozen in a sense. You can find other AHL, veterans that round out your roster and teach younger guys how to play pro.
Like, I mean, like, for example, I was pretty fired up when we lost Cole Schwint. I don't think anybody else. So just hear me out. I don't think anybody else in the Flames fan base gives it a shit right now at all about Cole Schwint and him not being on their team.
No, not at all. Now, he was a right shooting center who got into some games in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It was considered a throw-in in the massive Florida Calgary trade. But do I think he got a fair look in Calgary? No, not at all.
Yeah, I would. That's why I'm frustrated. Walker Dewar, I think he got a fair look in Calgary, but nobody's crying that we lost Walker Dewar now.
Yeah, Walker Dewar reminded me a lot of Gardner Hathaway. But here again, that type of player, your energy guys are not really that difficult to replace.
No, and I think that's why Lomberg frustrates me so much. Is that this is a placeholder on our lineup? I don't know.
Do you remember did we talk about when he fought Ross Johnston? Remember that when Ross Johnston was with the Islanders and Lomberg's first go around with the Flames? He got absolutely dummy. Johnston's a monster from Prince Edward Island, which is like a 50-minute drive from here. And Johnston just ragdolled him. He's like 6'8". Like it was hard to watch. Well, I just flash back to that.
And the thing is, he's not getting any younger, and the guys that he fights are getting younger, and there could be a couple ugly ones this year.
Yeah, maybe, but I love having him around the team. It's like we've said all along, though. I don't want to see him play him every single night because I don't feel that's his role, especially when you have guys that are, and we need to start seeing what we have because Kadri's getting up there. Huberdeau was, there's a lot more wingers behind him that, have stuff to prove. Backlund, most certainly is not getting younger.
I'm not quite to the stage where I want to say, hey, a fourth line doesn't need to look like a fourth line. We can put young guys and roll with it. But I'm kind of leaning, gosh, for an old fashioned guy here, I can't believe I'm even thinking this. I'm kind of starting to lean that, like, well, the fourth line now is not doing anything. Although I know last year at the beginning of the year, our fourth line was pretty effective, and it lost effectiveness as the season went on. I don't know.
They were really good in the last part of the season. The last few games, like
they were.
That was actually the best hockey I'd ever seen Kevin Rooney play. And actually, he's on a PTO back in Jersey where he originally played. I hope that goes well for him. He had a really nice finish to the season.
He did the last 10 games. Yeah, he was very, very good.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got a lot that'll happen this week with 3 games. Seattle tonight, as we're recording on a Monday evening for a Tuesday release. And then Wednesday, the Flames are at home against Vancouver, and then at home Friday again against Winnipeg. And those will really kind of ramp up as we go, I would think, and even get more and more NHL based and more cuts along the way. I believe we'd probably see some more cuts in Calgary tomorrow. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, most certainly. Most certainly. I'm actually looking at tonight's lineup because it is Uncle Kurt saying Bahal on top bearing where he belongs. That's awesome.
I think, yeah, I like Uncle Kurt. I'd like to have.
Oh, he's great. He's a great follow and a great guy.
I think that I love where Braden Bahal is. That third line's perfect, and that third pairing's perfect, and he does a hell of a good job there. And I saw a talk this week on X that they wanted, him not in the lineup, and I'm just like, oh boy, you guys, like, this guy brings the big, tough, strong defender that we need. We need him, especially when we're going to have defenders like Perek and Brustevich in the lineup. We're going to need guys like Pahal and Hanley and
absolutely
and Ball. We're going to need guys like that, right? I mean, you got to have a good, strong mix. And finally, I think we've found our offensive dynamic defenseman, and we need to have defensive-minded guys surrounding and sheltering him a little bit, right?
Absolutely. Excuse me. So this drives me kind of crazy too. Speaking of defensemen, I didn't realize Mackenzie Weegar finished with 39 assists last year. The same as Huberdeau had 29 goals. The same as Dustin Wolf had 29 wins. This lack of round numbers, man, can't handle it. You know how I feel about that. Oh, it drives me nuts. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But yes, to your point, we're going to see a lot of changes in the next few days. We're going to have to be way more active because there's going to be way more stuff to react to, right?
Yeah. Be a lot. A couple things before we jump on out of here and let people get on with their afternoon, day, morning, evening, whatever time that they're tuning in, which thank you for tuning in. Kyle and I love doing this show. We look forward to hopping on the mic every week and talking about the team we love, whether it's good or bad that week. I know this week I look a little bit more dismal than Kyle does, and maybe next week that'll change. But we are back next week, and next week is going to be a kind of a fun episode. We're going to talk about player projections, whether we think they're going to have an up or a down year. We'll talk about the team and how the Pacific Division will shake out this year, and kind of dive into some more talk in the Pacific Division about our opponents that we see much more frequently than the other opponents. Until then, watch the preseason games, of course. Get on to flamesunfiltered.com, sign up for the contest. We're giving away a gift card to this Calgary Flames team store, and you could also use it for beer at the Saddle Dome too, if you didn't know that. Which
you're so inclined. Yep.
Yes.
Actually, I think they signed a deal with Molson.
They did. I just saw that.
Yeah.
The beer this year. I like that. I like Molson.
Yeah, it takes me back to like years ago when the Flames were involved with Molson.
Yeah.
Plus, I'd much prefer that over what they had. But anyway.
Also, get on over to the website, flamesunfiltered.com. You'll see a little icon that says Speak Pipe. Get on there, record a message for us. We'll put it on the show. We'll answer your question, discuss whatever you have on your mind. So we look forward to getting a few of those in the coming weeks. Anyways, we're back next week. Kyle, did you survive another week?
I did. This is the last time I'll have to play hockey before we record. So I got a couple weeks off the ice, just some preliminary race times, and back to normal here on out. And I got some Flames games coming up. I got Flames and Senators in Ottawa the end of October. I got Flames in Montreal beginning of January. And I'm actually in Calgary in December, so I'll catch a home game then too. So another season chock full of games.
It's going to be fun. It's there's a lot of unanswered questions, and this roster is going to be really interesting to see how it goes this week. And we will definitely talk about it next week when you join us on Flames Unfiltered. Have a good week, Flames fans, and we'll be talking soon.
Joining us in training camp, and looking forward to our next chat.
Thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered with Brad Burud and Kyle Lewis, your source for unfiltered Calgary Flames hockey talk. Keep it locked on flamesunfiltered.ca. Subscribe where you get all your podcasts to never miss an episode. Flames hockey talk every week, presented by Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.